Hello, hello, and welcome. Today, I have the amazing Allison Fab with us today, and we're going to be doing a little bit of a chat about her experience coaching, what she has been able to do over the last year, and really like give you a deep dive case study of her experience. So, welcome, Allison.
Thank you.
Can you share with everybody a little bit about what you do? Like, what is your business called? Like, a little bit background info.
Background into it, info. It's taken lots of different names. What I do. But basically, I help people get paid, people, specifically service based business owners, get paid to be themselves online imperfectly using a method called the Fab marketing method, which is a framework for authentic based marketing.
Beautiful. And so what, like, tell us like about when you began, and I don't think we've been together a whole year yet, right? No.
No, I think we still have like 2 more months left. Month
Okay.
and a half.
So yeah, so tell everybody like where you were at that time that you were like, okay, I want to look at how I can get help in my business. Like what was going on for you? Because you were a coach for a long time before this. So what happened?
I just knew that I needed to change something. I was growing, but I was really overwhelmed and have been overwhelmed. Overwhelmed's my go-to emotion. Yay! um, but really overwhelmed and feeling like actually knowing I needed systems in place. I needed to simplify things, but there were so many things that I wanted to do. It felt very overwhelming to me, and I didn't really know where to start. Um, and one thing that I love about you is that you also use mindset, which is, I use mindset in everything that I do. So it's both pieces, like the practical pieces plus the mindset pieces.
Yeah. Yeah. And why like what was it that made you decide? So it was really the mindset pieces that helped you to decide, like it was mindset and strategy, or was there anything else?
It was me telling you how this wasn't working, and I didn't know how I was going to keep doing it, and I didn't know how I was going to pay for coaching. And I remember you said, well, I don't know how you're going to do it. I literally remember that. I was sitting right over here. Like the office was rearranged, but
You mean I
thinking,
didn't tell you to sell your house? Oh, hold on a second.
you didn't tell me to do anything at
Yeah.
all. No,
Yeah.
you just said, I don't know how you're going to do it. And just like everything else, I was like, okay, God, I don't know how this is going to work. If I can figure out the first payment, then we'll do it. And so that's kind of how it happened. I knew that it was what I needed. Every time I worked with somebody, I'm like, okay, this is what I need right now. And it was very clear that that was what I needed. I needed systems. I needed help, but the fear of hiring somebody has been very overwhelming to me. Back to the overwhelm. But you made it sound so simple and like it was doable, and I believed that it was doable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we give you all the systems, so you just copy paste them. And for you, I know like part of the needing of systems was the resistance to having it, right? Like, so we had to do a lot of mindset work, even around like, what is the system? What is not? Am I in a box? Am I out of a box? Like, right? All of that. And who's doing the systems? Because I think so much as entrepreneurs, it's like, oh, well, then that means I have to do all the systems and I have to stay in boxes and check off boxes. And when we're really creative, we don't want to do that, right?
No, right. And the other big thing that we've had to work on is my fear of like, well, what if it doesn't work? What if I choose that and then it's the wrong thing?
Mm-hmm.
So finding the system that worked, and then also not having to go through just a formula. So that was, one of the things, like, yes, I have access to the entire program and the group, but also having your additional support has been priceless.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been a delight. Like I love I love all the people that I get to serve on in a private like capacity. And I also love that my business model supports that I can do that and like can be like on the weekend with you, right? Like if I was like burning myself out at on both ends, like I would just feel overwhelmed by that. So just a beautiful, beautiful gift. Like I'm so grateful. All right. What was it like once you actually joined? So like first couple few weeks, first couple few months, like what was that like? Because so overwhelm was a thing for you. Did you feel more overwhelmed, less overwhelmed? How did you handle that?
I felt less overwhelmed. It was very like one task at a time. That's how, like, we just looked at, okay, this is what's working. We're going to take one task to modify. So it felt doable for sure.
Yeah.
And even as I pivoted, each pivot, because I've grown and pivoted a lot, especially over the last year. But each pivot didn't feel like it was like this big jump and there's 5 million things to do, which is the way that my brain works. Like, okay, this means I'm going to need to do 5,000 more new things. But you made it very doable and easy to find what I needed within the program.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And we never like with the pivots, I think too, sometimes for creatives, this is a thing is like, let's burn the entire thing down and create from scratch. Right. And we haven't done that. It's been always like a pivot, a small, tiny, doable pivot so that you can bring the assets you've already spent time building with you. Right. Like your audience and all of that. Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Was there anything that like delighted you or surprised you with the service?
You are very generous.
Oh.
So I had heard from someone who I know personally and have been in other programs and groups with, who had worked with you previously, that you were like really responsive. And I thought, okay, you're going to be responsive, but like you're without burning yourself out, which that's a really good example of how to do this in a healthy way. You do respond and not over deliver. You deliver more than what I expect or anticipate. And so I didn't really comprehend that there literally is a tool for everything. Like literally everything. You're like, oh, well, that's just, go look it up over here. Oh, okay. And if it's not there, then let me just modify it a little bit for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So being able to see that was a delight.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not kidding you when I say it's everything you need from 0 to multiple 6 figures, like everything you need. And we don't expect you to do everything, right? Like you've even brought people on to help you execute on some of the stuff we're teaching. But it's all there.
And even I think another piece, because I wasn't sure how active I was going to be within the group call, because of the times and just what I needed personally, but having the additional support within the group for some of those challenging situations that came up were extra layers of everything I needed and more. Like, oh, here's how you respond to this email. Here's what I did. It worked perfectly. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah, I remember those calls. Yeah, exactly. Because I'm not like the savior that's going to come back in and save you, right? Like, first of all, we're all saving our own selves, right? And the group setting can really just give you like a life preserver. Like, here you go. We're all in this with you, girl. Like, we are all here, right? And that, I really love the group aspect of that. So thank you. Okay. Why do you think like learning or coaching with me is like second to none? Like, why is it good or better?
Because it's both. It's not either or. It's not just business and it's not just mindset. It's both, which I think is I think it's essential. And you bring the science behind it if people want to hear it. And for me, that helps me it helps things to stick in my brain better with the science. So I like that too, like just the logic behind it. If not everybody has the logic behind it.
All right. And what were some of the results that you've gained like throughout implementing what we've taught in the impact formula?
So I'm not a big numbers person, which everybody knows, right? I don't love all the numbers. They're just not my favorite thing. But I did run some numbers for you. So
Yay!
so I just did my taxes between for 2018 versus 2019. I had a 64% increase in my overall income from my business.
Yay!
Yes, and it's been consistent income. So 6 month plan versus, and also having paid in full like that. Like I had a couple people pay in full with ease, which was surprising and pleasant at the same time.
Yes, so exciting. Yeah. So you've had like the steadiness throughout. And anything else, like any other results, like clarity, like mindset, anything else? Results can be anything. It doesn't have to only be numbers.
I know you like numbers, so
I know.
So I have enough numbers for you. Clarity and simplification. Is that a word, simplification?
Yeah,
it is, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's a math word. So I don't know if it's really a word or not. So I have, like we talked about, I've done all these little small pivots, and I now have a very low end offer. I have my core offer, and I have one-on-one coaching, and it feels like it encompasses everything. I've uploaded my brand, my website.
Big time.
Yeah. So I have gained so much clarity and simplified everything to the extent that it has given me so much confidence to talk about what I do, which obviously changes everything. Because I think that was the big, you asked, what do I do? My title has changed so many times over the years. Like, yes, I've been coaching for many years, and I've always helped people with their confidence and how they show up. But explaining that in a way that matters to people, I haven't been very successful at in the past. And now I'm like, okay, this works. This is what I do. I help service-based business owners get paid to be themselves online, imperfectly, authentically. And I can put everything under that umbrella now. And that is wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. And we really simplified your marketing and your messaging so that it was like clear to explain, like it's your methodology, it's yours, you're like a market of one. Like we've done so much work on that. And I think, the results show that, right? Like people are willing to pay you with ease and full. Like I think that that's been the beauty of the work that we've done together.
Yeah. Well, and I've had the confidence to ask for it, because I feel like I feel more valuable now because I have the clarity as well, which was a big piece for me, because I knew that what I did mattered and that I could help people, but it's just given me a different level of confidence for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. And then how did you feel as a result of, so obviously confidence, right? But how else did you feel like as a result of like the 64% increase and like having pay in full clients that paid with you with ease? Like, how did you feel as a business owner, like running a business that does these kinds of things?
The first word that came to mind just now when you asked me was capable. Like,
oh my God, you're going to make me want to
cry. Because there are times where I feel like I wasn't capable. And I've had some very challenging conversations. And as somebody who struggles with people pleasing, that has been a big shift as well. But yeah, capable, like, okay, I can do this. I even though it in the moment doesn't always feel like I'm growing, here's like physical evidence, like I am growing. I can keep growing. I grew the year before. I'm actually growing. So yeah, capable.
Yeah. Yeah. And also like you've just, you were always pretty self-aware, but I think you've become more self-aware ahead of time, right? So like with the people pleasing, whenever something like that comes up now, you're like, oh, right, that's over there. I know what my brain's going to want to do. And then we like, okay, and this is what we're going to do. Now, it doesn't always, when we're reprogramming something like that, it's not like you can just do it overnight, especially when it's been a while. But I think you become so much more self-aware of your patterns and what you do. And like, of course, right, the proof is there that you're growing and that you're capable. And I mean, I've always believed you are. And so I'm so glad, like, just, beautiful. Okay. And then why is it important? Like, why was it important for you to kind of continue to progress your business? Like, what is the impact for you that matters?
The impact in the world that matters?
Yeah.
Or
like,
why did I
yeah,
feel like
all everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
That there's so many layers to that question. In the world, like, I see so much potential in people, and I know that they all have different gifts to give, and I want them giving their gifts. So, like, I feel like that's my purpose, is like to help them live out their calling. From a business perspective, well, from a financial perspective, it was important for me to continue because I do feel like this is my calling, and I also want to have the safety net, I guess, financially, so that I can make this full time. Like, people have asked me, why aren't you doing this full time? Because I have specific income goals and needs, like the way of living that we have, and wanting to continue that, and not put a burden on it, and not have my business become, what would you call it? I can't think of the word. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Like a sugar mama or something. Yeah, like.
No, I don't want to resent my business.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't want to put the pressure on the business to perform, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you want it to stay this creative, beautiful, fun thing.
Yes.
Right?
And that is also part of why it needed to become simpler, because it had grown, but I was still like, this isn't working. Like, I don't know how I can keep doing this. I'm so overwhelmed. So it was important for me to be more present with my family, and also grow this, and also, do what I feel like I'm called to do in the world.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, totally. All right. One more question, and then we'll ask the last one. So what has this made possible for you for, like, the next stage of your life? Like, where do you see yourself going onward as you continue in your journey?
Well, a month ago, that answer might have been a little bit different.
Right? Like, given the state of
traveling and but I do see more of that happening in the future. I do see, like, I've had these, dreams of traveling more with my family and with the business at the same time. So I see that actually happening more. Just being more present in my own life, and feeling more flow and ease in how I show up with my business and just in life. Just continuing to constantly work on my brain management, something I've always been doing, but I get a little bit better at it as time goes on, and cutting myself some more slack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
for sure.
Oh yeah. Beautiful. Is there anything else that you think is important, or you would want anyone else to know?
You won't know how wonderful it is until you try it. I think that's, like, no, really, like, you can't. A sales page will tell you so much. A conversation will tell you so much. But honestly, like, until you experience the transformation or see for yourself all of the tools that are available, all the resources, exactly how much you give, exactly how present you are, how you customize new trainings all the time, or just how you coach people at different levels. Like, you won't know until you experience it, until you jump in.
Yeah, thank you. It's so beautiful.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Where can people continue to connect with you and, like, experience all the fabulousness?
Well, you can find me on Instagram or Facebook at Allison Fab, 2 L's and an I, so ALLISONFAB. And then I have a Facebook group, it's Fabulously Visible Facebook community. And then my website is fabover.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your experience.
You're welcome.